Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for taking the time to be here today. I've got so much that I want to share with you, but I just want to begin with this right here. I want to thank Fred DeFalco and Arnie Goldberg because they came to me. They said, Ron, we're serious about helping realtors build their business with LinkedIn. And would you be kind enough to do a training? I said I would. And it's Fred and it's Arnie that have stepped up. They are paying me to be with you. So thank you so much. Real Estate Resource Center, eXp Realty, and Residential Warranty Services. So everybody, I've got so much I'm going to share with you. Let me show you how this is going to work. First of all, I'd like you to all know that I was with Fred Sands Realtors in Los Angeles from 75 to 80. I ended up doing 11.3 million in sales my last year. No websites, no email. My ability to connect with people and build relationships with people. I also trained thousands of realtors for continuing education in the state of Indiana, and I trained thousands of others around the country. I want to make sure that I show you a few things. I've had a couple of books published. There's my LinkedIn book. And I want to show you how the agenda is going to work today. I will show you a few slides on and off. We will go directly to LinkedIn online. So we're not just going to show you PowerPoint. We're going to be on LinkedIn. I will teach you mostly everything you need to know to be successful. You can ask a question at any time. I understand, Fred, you're going to be kind enough that when there's a question, you're going to tell me what that question is. And if anybody wants me to work on your profile, let me know. I'd be more than happy to do it. So I want to start out by making sure everybody understands the power of LinkedIn. They were purchased by Microsoft for $26.2 billion. And this goes back to about 2016. Everybody says to me, Ron, why did they do it? And here's why they did it. They bought one of the most influential, especially highly read, constantly updated digital media companies. It's that simple. And I want everybody to understand that LinkedIn is one tool. It's just one tool, right? There's Clubhouse, there's Twitter, there's Instagram, there's TikTok, there's Facebook. But I'll tell you, there's not even a question whether you can be successful on LinkedIn. In fact, I'm going to share some interesting numbers with you. Let me show you a couple of things. 760 million users, a lot of senior level influencers, about 138 million in this country. You can reach, if for some reason you had a reason to reach out into other countries for a business, you could reach into 200 countries. And if I get to the third quarter of 2020, there were 47 billion page views. 47 billion page views, which means people are looking for people. By the way, there's professional groups. I'll share that a little bit about that with you later. There's over 2 million of them, and there's a reason why you want to be active in groups. I'll share that with you. By the way, about 1,200,000,000 users on Microsoft, about 5 million people a month coming in. There's millions of posts, articles, and videos published every day. And I want to point out that messaging on LinkedIn is up over 200%. So when you think about LinkedIn, I want you to just know it's about engagement, communication, and it's about relationships. And by the way, let me tell you some other numbers that I found interesting. Supposedly, there are about 20,253,000 people that live in the state of Florida. 2,253,000. That's a lot of people. There's 109, the National Association states that there's a little bit over 195,000 realtors in the state of Florida. Here's the good news, everybody. After my research, I've determined that there's not nearly as many realtors in the state of Florida that are using LinkedIn to get business. And there's not even a question whether you can get it. So let's keep moving on. If I look at the stats, take a look at this for a moment. This aligns a lot with NAW, right? The National Association's demographic. Age 30 and older, half earn more than $75,000 a year, and mostly a lot of the users are college grads. So this, again, fits the demographics that align with NAW's profile for an average home seller or buyer. I just want to share that with everybody. So let's keep going. I want you to view LinkedIn as a digital asset. And I know I know you know about assets, right? I mean, you sell homes, you buy and sell homes and other things like land. But think about it for a minute. What do you do with an asset? Well, you got to nurture it, you got to share it, you got to maintain it, you got to protect it, and you got to grow it. It's about engagement, communication, and relationships. Now, I want to share with everybody something. And by the way, feel free to take a picture of any of my slides. And again, ask questions at any time, but I want to introduce you to what is known as the Social Selling Index Score, SSI. I'm going to go back to that slide, but that's that link. If you see that link on the top which says linkedin.com/sales/SSI, that's where you're going to get your score. It's free. Everything I'm going to talk to you about today is free. But here's what you want to know about LinkedIn. The more you do any of these four things, the higher your SSI score is. The higher your SSI score is, the more action you're going to have in the algorithm. So let's take a look at what they're saying. Building the brand. Anything you do on your profile is what LinkedIn considers building the brand. Your credentials, the certificates, the courses that you're learning, the sales that you're making, the listings that you're showing people on LinkedIn, and we'll go through the profile in just a moment. But anything you do on your profile is building the brand. They like it. You can get up to 25 points. People, LinkedIn wants to know if you have a connection strategy. I will give you one today. In fact, you should connect with people you know, you want to know, and you should know. But again, I'm going to get into that, and I'm going to show you exactly how to make it happen. So if you've got a connection strategy and you're connecting with people on an ongoing basis, you're going to increase your score. You can get up to 25 points. By the way, the most you can ever get is 100. I've always got into the 80s. You want to be in the 70s. Again, we'll get into that. Insights. LinkedIn wants to know, are you providing insights to the people that are following you? You know, when you think about LinkedIn, you've got as many followers as you have connections. Well, the question is this: where are they following you to? They got to follow you somewhere. Again, I'm going to share a lot of that with you. And by the way, you want your profile to look as good as you look professionally. I want you to think of it as an online digital reputation, being that it's a digital asset. And the last thing is relationships. Look, I don't have to convince any of you how important relationships are in business. In fact, when I did 11.3 million back in 1980, that was pretty good. It's probably pretty good today, but it was pretty good then. And it was really through a lot of the relationships that I developed with fellow realtors and brokers, and certainly the people that I connected with that were buyers and sellers of property. But if you're following up with people, if you're engaging with people and you're communicating to people, you're going to build your social selling index score. And again, as a reminder, here's my score, 85 out of 100. I rank in the top 1%, which is great. You know, I've only got about 12,300 connections, but the good news is I don't just connect with anybody. But if you take the link that you see on top, you're going to find that you're going to be able to find your score. It'll tell you exactly what you can do to increase your score. Again, any questions you have at any time, just ask it. Let me keep going, and then we're going to be going to LinkedIn any moment. By the way, take a picture of this, please. This right here happens to be your character limits on LinkedIn. This is where they, you know, the headline, 220 characters, the about section or summary, as they called it, 2,600 characters. So I'm going to make sure that you see it all, but LinkedIn likes it when you use a lot of the characters that they allow you to have. You don't necessarily have to use them all, but they like it a lot when you do it. Keep that in mind. By the way, some fellow realtors, I just want to show you a couple of quick testimonials. These are fellow realtors. Look what they say. I don't need to read this to you. I just wanted to show you. LinkedIn will notify you about different things all the time. And it's not like the people are calling you, but LinkedIn does. Look, I've got another one here. Look at this one. Here's a California realtor. You establish credibility. It's the largest professional database in the world. My goodness. Why wouldn't it, right? Let me show you one more, maybe. Here's somebody that did a little bit of advertising on LinkedIn. And I'm not suggesting that's what you do, but if you did, here's what they did. They had 3 people purchase some properties. So just another way that you can use LinkedIn if you wanted to market and promote and you included it in your budget. And then just a couple of other people. These are fellow realtors from other companies saying what they're saying. So it's not me telling you this. It's fellow realtors telling you they're using LinkedIn and it's making sense. Now, here's what I always want to share with people that are so important for you. You've got to understand why you're on LinkedIn. And if I ask you why you're on LinkedIn, I'll tell you what you're probably going to tell me. It seems, LinkedIn started, by the way, in May of 2003. I got onto LinkedIn in May of 2004. The reason why I went on in the first place was because it just seemed like the place to go. It's a free platform. You don't have to buy a premium service. You don't have to pay any money to LinkedIn, and it's the largest professional database in the world. So why are you on LinkedIn? Well, number one, you want to build an online presence. Number two, you want to maybe build some opportunities for yourself, build some business. And maybe you want to do a little bit of research because there's so much you can gain access to information-wise. So I think unless anybody has any other thoughts, that's why you're going to be on LinkedIn. You want to be visible. The bottom line for your success in any of your real estate endeavors is your ability to be seen and heard. So I just wanted to mention that. Now, let me talk to you about the profile, and then we're going to go to LinkedIn. I'm going to show you a few things. There are 5 levels of strength on LinkedIn. I'm going to teach you what it's going to take for you to be successful on LinkedIn. But there's 5 levels, and you finally get to an all-star level. Once you're at an all-star level, your algorithm kicks in greater, and your SSI score goes up. If you notice on the top of the picture, you'll see me. That's known as the banner. There are a lot of people that are realtors that don't really have a banner. And I just want to show you a couple of quick banners just so you get a sense of it. And then again, I'm going right to LinkedIn. Here's a banner. Here's a real estate person that says he's a realtor. And he's got his contact information, and that's that. And then there's the realtor that understands we're in the holiday season. So that's what that looks like. There's another realtor that's really making it interesting for people when they get to their LinkedIn profile. Now, I'm going to go directly to LinkedIn for everybody, and I'm going to start to show you a lot of things about LinkedIn. Give me just one quick moment, everybody, please. Okay, now I'm going to show you my profile only because I'm in my profile. And this is the banner. Remember I told you about the banner? Well, that's my banner. LinkedIn likes it when you change it from time to time. So keep that in mind. The way you would change it is you would go to the pencil. Pencil always means that you can edit. And then I'll show you how you can add things. On the very top happens to be what is known as the headline. They let you have up to 220 characters on your headline. And I want to point out to everybody that look at what I'm saying. I'm a LinkedIn speaker, LinkedIn trainer, LinkedIn coach, LinkedIn expert, whatever. Who knows what people are looking for? But the good news is what? That if they're looking for me, they can probably find me. I wanted to show that to everybody. Now, look at your contact information. If you look at the contact information, when you go in here, I want to point out that I've got my LinkedIn profile. If you have numbers on the very top of your LinkedIn profile, of course, you'll notice I don't have that. I have my name, Ron Sukenik. But if you look at your LinkedIn profile and you have numbers, I want to suggest you immediately remove the numbers. They get in the way of the algorithm. The way you do that is you go right here to the right on your profile. It says edit public profile. You would click on it. It would open up. As you'll see, you go to the pencil, you change it, and you just leave your name or any other brand that you have that you want people to be able to search for where they can find you. Now, going back to where we are, if I go back here, I want to point out that I've got a company website, I've got a Gold Star Referral Club website, I got a Calendly. I want people to be able to speak to me if they want to speak to me. But I want to point something out to everybody. LinkedIn says that 40% of people today are using a cell phone app, right? Like an Android, an iPhone. Well, guess what, everybody? LinkedIn, you can't get to the contact information on a phone app. I don't know if you knew that, but here's what's important. I want you to take your contact information and I want you to put it down in what is known as your summary section, or your about section, excuse me, and your experience section. I'll show you what I mean by that. Remember, people cannot get to your contact info on the phone app if 40% of the users are using that. Now, everybody take a look at this. Below my headline, do you notice it says talks about hashtag LinkedIn, hashtag LinkedIn tips, hashtag LinkedIn expert? Well, if you don't have that below you, I want to show you how you do it. You go to your dashboard, which is below. You see it says your dashboard. You'll see it on your profile. Again, if somebody wants me to go to your profile, I will talk about your profile. But now that I'm on mine, I want you to notice this thing called creator mode. Creator mode. It's on. All you got to do is turn it on. Once you turn it on, it will tell people what you talk about. Buying real estate, selling real estate, buying land, helping homeowners. Whatever you talk about, it will show up. The good news, everybody, it is searchable. It is searchable. I just wanted you to be aware of that. By the way, if you have questions, bring them up at any time. I want to share this with everybody because I'm noticing a lot of realtors don't have this, but man, this is so great for you. It's called the featured section. You should know, and it's below your name, it's below your dashboard, and it's above your activity section. But look at this, everybody. Do you have a featured section? And here's the question to everybody. What would you feature? Well, if I was a realtor in the state of Florida, I'd be featuring my listings. I can feature other people's listings. I can feature what's going on in the market. It's all about positioning yourself as the expert and the consultant that you are. And by the way, when I talk and I'll talk more about optimization and keywords, but are people looking for real estate agents? Are they looking for real estate professionals? Are they looking for real estate advisors, real estate consultants? Those are keywords that need to be in your headline because that'll get people's attention. That's searchable. And you want to show up as often as you can. So how do you add a featured section? I know somebody might have asked me that question. And I want you to notice to the very right, it says add section. Now, again, this is on your profile. I'm just showing you mine. You click on add section, you go to the featured section, and here's what you want to know, everybody. When you add anything to a section, you go to the plus sign. You see the plus sign, everybody? That's what you go to. When you're editing anything on your profile, you're going to go to the pencil. So that's the bottom line with all that. So you got to have a featured section. You got to feature real estate. And let me tell you something. I had a realtor 3 weeks ago tell me that as a result, and look, I know inventory is low in a lot of areas around the country, and you'd like to have more listings. I got it. But you know something? I had a realtor tell me they sold a piece of property off of LinkedIn. They picked up a series of maybe 3 buyers off of LinkedIn because people like what they see. So you got to be visible. You got to be seen. Now, by the way, this just shows you my activity level, no big deal. I think you notice it says I've got 12,347 followers. I made the comment a bit earlier. You have as many followers as you have connections. The question is always this: where are they following you to? You got to lead them somewhere. I'm going to show you what I do. Now, let's talk about the about section. If for some reason you don't have an about section, again, I don't want to bore you with this, but you just got to add it. That's all you got to do. It's a great tool. LinkedIn will like it. It helps to build your brand. Take a look at what I've done with the about section, everybody. Learn top LinkedIn strategies, making a difference for those in business. Free strategy call to discuss how I can help you. So for you, it's learning top, real estate buying and selling strategies, I would think, maybe something like that. Then take a look at what I do. Now I'm talking to a targeted audience. So I want you to function as a resource, not a resume. Look, you may have a great resume, but listen, you're a resource for people. What's the challenge that people have in regards to buying and selling real estate today? And you're part of the solution. Show people how you solve the solution for them, or you're part of the solution. And then I tell them a little bit about me. Here's who I am, here's what I do. And then look at this, everybody. Why am I on LinkedIn? I want people to know, why am I on LinkedIn? Look, I don't want to confuse activity for accomplishment, but take a look at this. You see this right here, everybody? It says specialties. I throw in a lot of keywords to get into the algorithm. And this is really important for you. So I want you to take a ton of keywords that deal with, just everything related to your profession. And I want people to understand that they can find you. And you just got to put your keywords together. Again, you get up to 2,600 characters. And then look at this. Do you know how to effectively connect with business contacts? Well, guess what? If they take this link and they copy and paste it, they end up on my website. What would you do? Well, if I was you, I'd put something in there where they can maybe learn to get some comfortable, get some appraisal of their property. Do you know how much your property is worth? And they would copy and paste it, and they'd end up, you got to lead them somewhere. You lead them to a Zoom call, a phone call, a Starbucks, to the beach. You got to go somewhere. We don't really have a beach here in Indiana, by the way, and it's about 30 degrees. Just figured I'd tell everybody that. And then look at this. Want to embrace the power of LinkedIn? Want to learn what it's going to take for you to sell your property in the fastest time possible? Let's talk. And I'm putting in my contact information. Remember, everybody, I mentioned 40% of the users can't get to your contact information in your contact section. So I put it there. Now, let's talk about this thing called experience section. I notice that, and again, I do all my research, there are a lot of realtors in the state of Florida, all over the country, that don't really reflect that you have any experience. Let me say that one more time. You're reflecting maybe that you work for a great company, whatever that company is, whether it's a EXP or Keller Williams or Remax, it makes no difference. You're just reflecting the company you're working for, but you're not necessarily reflecting that you have any experience. Let me show everybody something that your sponsors of this event have. Take a look at this, everybody. I found this from the Orlando Regional Realtor Association, and it talked about the critical role of a realtor. And a lot of people, as I remember, and they really underestimate the power of what it takes for you to buy and sell real estate. I sold a piece of rental property that I had, and I think you're all going to love this. I had these tenants in my home. They paid me rent for 21 years. Can you imagine, everybody? 21 years. They bought me the house. They actually bought me the house. And then you know what I told them last year? I told them I was selling the house. And you know what they did? They bought the house from me. So they bought it for me, and then they bought it from me. Wow, what a great deal that was. But let me tell you what I did. I was smart enough to bring a realtor into the mix because I wasn't going to do my own paperwork because I know it's critical. It's critical. And I wanted an arm's length transaction. So I paid a realtor to handle all the paperwork. Now, take a look at this document for a minute. Look what they're saying. Why use a realtor? Critical role of a realtor. Look at this. Look what you go through for pre-listing activities. Look what you go through a listing appointment preparation. Once the property is listed, look at all the stuff you're doing. This is amazing. I mean, you're busy, but consumers don't necessarily know this. So what I'm suggesting when I'm showing you this document is I want you just to pull from a document like this some of the experience you have in dealing with negotiations and marketing real estate. Look at this. The appraisal, closing preparation, follow-up, and the closing. Now, if anybody wants this document at all, I've sent it to Fred and I send it to Arnie. All you have to do is make sure you have their email address. Tell them you'd love to have that document, and they'll send it to you. So take a look at. Let's go back to the experience section for a moment. So here I am, and this reflects who I am, what I am. And then when you go here, I've got my programs, right? I'm reflecting a lot of programming. And if you're wondering how I spiced up my profile, I took a lot of these bullets and these emojis and these doodaddies. You can copy and paste it and put it in yours. And look at this, everybody. Want to know if you're LinkedIn or linked out? Once again, where am I leading people? I'm leading them to my website. Now, somebody asked me the other day, Ron, will everybody read everything you have on your profile? The answer is no. I got it. Not everybody does. But guess what, everyone? If they're interested in me, they will read what I've got. If they're interested in me, they're going to contact me. If they're interested in me, they're going to go to my website. With you, it's all about the property that you're reflecting, that you work with, whether it's luxury real estate, whether you're in property management, land acquisition, makes no difference. So keep that in mind. Now, I want to point something out to everybody. You see this gray circle? That means I'm streaming. You see, LinkedIn allows you to have up to 2,000 characters in your experience section. Now, remember I mentioned something about if I add more experience that I have under the same company, like if I'm experienced with residential real estate, that's one experience. If I'm experienced with condos, that's another experience. If I'm experienced working with the military, that's more experience. If I'm experienced with working with senior citizens and people with disabilities, that's more experience. You always click on the plus sign, it'll stream it. The pencil, remember what I said? That's how you edit. You can edit anything, you can add anything. By the way, any comments, any questions? Anybody, please don't hesitate to reach out. I want to make sure that I'm addressing your questions as we go along. So if you notice, I've got a lot of stuff here. I've got videos, I got pictures. By the way, this is me right here. I happen to be one of 25 national speakers for the Office of the Secretary of Defense. That's me. That's the Navy. By the way, that's the Navy as well. That's me with a general. That's me with 4 generals. That's the Utah National Guard. And that's the Yellow Ribbon program that I'm involved with the Department of Defense. So I share that with everybody because I just want you to know that I media enrich it. I'm interested in people knowing, it's a matter of being socially proved out. So let's think about that for a second. So once you are keyword focused, target audience focused, and credibility focused, and all of you have a lot of credibility in the work that you do with LinkedIn, then you want to be socially proved out. Well, how do you do that? Well, you do it a few ways. Number one, it's whatever you're posting, your content that you're putting out, the things that you are reflecting as far as video, and nothing stops you from posting videos and articles that talk about your profession. Then they've got a section here, everybody, and I think you probably know this, but you should know it. and it deals with the concept of skills and endorsements. Let me talk about that for just a moment. LinkedIn allows you to have up to 50 skills. 50 skills. Now, if I want to add a new skill, it's probably going to tell me I can't do it because I reached my limit. You see, I've reached my limit. Now, why do you need to reach your limit? Let me tell you why. Because the keywords that you put in for your skills and endorsements is relevant in the algorithm. So you want to put it in there. And when you add a new skill, you would just click on add a new skill or just the edit button, and then you can pull skills in and out. And let me show you this. If you notice this right here, LinkedIn coach, LinkedIn training, public speaking. Well, guess what? The most they'll ever reflect on 99. Now, it's like McDonald's. They stopped saying that they sell millions of hamburgers and they just sell billions, I guess. But take a look at this. If I click on my speaking, I've had 366 people endorse me. If I add up all my endorsements, I've probably got close to 10,000 endorsements. Does that get me business? Yes. The top 3 endorsements, everybody, is what's got to be most relevant in your business. So I noticed there's a lot of realtors that have either another job or they had a previous job and they've never changed it. My suggestion is you change it. And what you do is you can go to the pencil. Everybody see the green pinpoint? That means it's pinned on top. So if I want to pin marketing on top, I would unpin, I would click on public speaking as an example, and then I would click on marketing, and marketing would now go on top. If I wanted to move LinkedIn training on top of LinkedIn coach, I go to the grid. Watch this, everybody. I go to the grid, I go above LinkedIn coaching, and there I am. So that's how you would do that. So what's the point? The point is you want to socially prove yourself out. Now, let's talk about recommendations. I'm noticing, at least from my research, once again, that there are a lot of realtors that don't have a lot of recommendations. You may not know how to get them. I'm going to share with you how to do it. First of all, I want you to notice I've given 174, so I give more than I receive. And I received 151 people that are saying that I have amazing knowledge in regards to, they're just validating who I am and what I'm about. You need to do that as well. Now, let me make sure everybody understands this. The only people you can get in endorsements from, or even obviously LinkedIn recommendations, are people you're connected to at the first level. People you're connected to at the first level. So as an example, if I want to, and I'm just going to take Fred for a moment. If I go to Fred DeFalco, right, there's Fred DeFalco. If I want to give Fred DeFalco a recommendation, all I've got to do is get his, and we're connected at the first level, by the way. There are 3 levels of connection, 1, 2, and 3. So I'm connected to Fred. I can endorse him and I can actually recommend him. I would go to the more button, everybody. Everybody see the more button right here? And what I can do is I can request a recommendation and I can recommend Fred. And it's that simple. And you know something? If I was to, I think the gift is always in the giving. So if you just give to people, they feel a sense of, most relationships are built in some form of reciprocity. If I help you, it makes it easier for you to want to help me. If we help one another, we all do better as a result. So there's not even a question that if I took you out to lunch one day and I buy you lunch, you would say thank you, and you would say, Ron, I'll buy lunch the next time. So how many recommendations should you have? Well, I always tell people you want to have at least 1 to 2 recommendations for every year you've been in business. Now, Fred has been in business about what, I don't know, 40 years or something. I mean, he's very knowledgeable and very skillful at what he does. Arnie Goldberg, who you've heard is celebrating his 60th birthday. Well, that was a long time ago. But Arnie, by the way, just so everybody knows, was the first rock and roll band at Indiana University. Can you imagine? I mean, that's old. I'm sorry, Arnie. I didn't mean to say that, but
Hey Ron, I'm going to jump in there. But by the way, I want to give you some love here, man. I've got a lot of texts coming to me saying, "Hey, Fred, thank you for this. This is powerful." I told you guys, as the Real Estate Resource Center, I'm your resource. When I met Ron, and I thank Arnie for that. But it's pouring in, Ron. Everyone is really getting a lot out of it. And then, Arnie and I, Ron is a loving guy, but, he needs to be paid. So Arnie and I pitched in and we did this. So consider, residential warranty services because it's good for your customers. But anyway, I want to just remind everybody there's a question section and some of you are using it and I'm going to bring them up. So don't hold back because we made this a one-way seminar instead of Zoom. So there's not a lot of interruptions. And so I want you to know that question section, your question will be answered when the time is right. So use that question section and send them over to us, okay? Because I'm keeping track of them for you. But Ron, great job, man. I'm like blown away more than when you had me on individually there. I'm blown away. Keep up the great work.
Well, thank you, Fred. I've got so much I want to share with everybody. So again, I want to make sure everybody gets it. So the gift is in the giving. So you can request a recommendation. If you did, all you would do is I would say, "Hey, Fred, I'm in the process of building my online digital reputation. We've worked together a little bit. I'd really appreciate it if you'd give me some thoughtful recommendation." You got to give a thoughtful recommendation. Another thing I can do is I can recommend Fred. I can say, "Wow, Fred, I've been around the world of business for years. My God, you clearly have 44 years of experience with a 20-year vision." I got to figure out what that means, Fred. 44 with a 20-year vision. Well, I love that. But so you got to get recommendations, and everybody, as a homework assignment, I want you to go out and give a bunch of recommendations to a lot of people. Certainly to the people you've been connected to. Now, I want to go back to the PowerPoint for a minute. When I talk about being keyword focused, I want to show you some terms that you want to use. If you're a CPM, put in CPM, but I want you to put in certified property manager. If you're an accredited residential manager, put in ARM, but put in spell it out. Who knows how people are finding it? What about certified distressed property expert? Are you one of those? That's what you want to put in. Are you a graduate from the Realtor Institute? Put it in. Are you a military relocation professional? Put it in. This is all great stuff. And this is in your specialty section. My God, if you're a seniors real estate specialist, put it in. Let me show you some more when I talk about optimization. And please, I want you to take pictures of these slides. Look at some of these. Real estate broker, real estate agent, real estate consultant, real estate advisor. This is what people, how much is my Fort Lauderdale home worth? How much is my Boca Raton home worth? I'm the best realtor in Orlando for buying a new home. Could you say that? Of course you could. And would somebody search for that on LinkedIn? The answer is yes, they could. I don't think anybody's going to get upset. You may or may not be the best, but you know something? They're going to find you. How to stage a home. People might be looking for that. And you can show up, put it in your programming. Look at some of these. I want to show you. If you go to Google Keywords, they have what is known as a keyword planner. Look at this, everybody. These are keywords. Make a note of this. Look at all this. Realtors near me. People search for that. You want to show up. Real estate near me, MLS real estate agents near me, Remax Realty or Keller Williams or EXP, real estate. Look at this. This is all great stuff. MLS houses for sale. It's amazing what you can put in to your profile. And I'm not telling you to mislead people. And some of your companies may have a social media marketing strategy or policy. Stick to your program. But I'm telling you, it's a great tool. By the way, I just want to show you some ways you can generate leads. There's multiple ways to do it. I want you to publish content. You can get content from any magazine that you can find online. If I took the time right now to show you, you can go to any of the Realtor magazines, any of your company magazines, excuse me, and you'll always find an icon, and you can post it on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn. And if you click on the LinkedIn icon, it will show up in your feed. So it's not like you have to write your own content, but I think your companies also have content that you can use. Make a company page. I can show everybody how to do that if you have your own landing page. You can make showcase pages with your new listings. I'll show you how to do that. You can join groups. You can create a group on LinkedIn. You can post your listings. You socially prove yourself out, which I was talking about. And then you write a compelling about section. Remember, that's where you're talking to a targeted audience. And then you can target events and you can show your activity with updates. I'm going to show you about all that. I got to get back to it. So let's talk about a connection strategy, everybody. And let me go right back to LinkedIn for a moment. And I want to show you connection strategies. So here's what happens with connections. People every day, every week, every month are going to send you an invite to get connected on LinkedIn. Okay? I'm sure you all know that. All your connections come into this network tab. I get about 10 to 12 a day. Right now, I've got about 18 people looking for me to connect with them for some reason. And I want you to always ask yourself a question when people want to connect with you. Make a note of this, please. You always ask yourself this question: why do people want to connect with me? Right? That would be a good question, wouldn't it? Why do people want to connect with me? Then what I want you to do is look at their profile. Now let's take a look at some people. Now, when people connect with people, they either give you a note or not. So take a look at this guy here. Here's a guy. I don't know the guy. So what I do is I look at this. He's got a little note here. And what's he saying? Ron, would be great to connect. What kind of coaching do you focus on? So here's what I do, everybody. I look at his profile. He's out of San Diego. I showed up in his search because I want to point something out to everybody, and I want to go back to me again for just a moment. If you take a look at my dashboard, I had 589 people view my profile over the last 90 days. I showed up in 946 search appearances. That's a lot of activity. Then this guy does what? He wants to connect with me because I showed up as somebody that might be interesting for him. So I look at what he's about. I can see he's got 500 plus connections. I can see we have 134 mutual connections. Then I can see he's got an about section. Looks really interesting. Oh, look at this guy. He's worked with the National Football League, the New York Yankees. Wow, he's got a feature. This guy, he's got 15,000 followers. This guy's incredible. He's the chairman and CEO. So you know what I'm going to do with this guy, everybody? Let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell this guy, I'm going to thank him. You always send a note. He sent me a little bit of a note. I'm going to send him a note. Now watch this. Here's what I'm going to send to the guy, and I want you to get this. Number one, whenever you accept anybody's invite, you always want to be thankful. You want to be grateful. Now watch what happens. When they send you a note, the note will pop up when I accept it. Watch this. There's his note. Then I say, then I'm going to post something there, and I'm going to say, hey, Brandon. That's his name, right? Brendan. Thanks for the invite to get better connected on LinkedIn. Looks like you're doing great things. Well, I'm just saying that. I put together some tips on relationship building and networking that I felt you might enjoy reading. I outlined 14 tips for making the most from your networking and relationship building efforts in 2022. Feel free to share it. And look at the last thing I'm saying. By the way, if you want to receive some articles or some posts from my company LinkedIn page, you can follow it right there. Now, I go to my computer. I'm going now to this gift. I'm sending them a gift, everybody. And here's what I'm suggesting you do. I want you to do the same thing. I want you to thank people. I want you to send them something. Say, here's the 10 biggest mistakes most people are doing when it comes to buying or selling real estate and what you can do about it. I thought you might find it interesting. I'm not trying to sell them on anything. You know, social selling, as I mentioned earlier, is about the resource. You've got to be a resource. And when I think about what Fred is all about, and again, not to say Ani is unbelievable as the kind of person he is, but Fred has got the Real Estate Resource Center. My God, that's what he's all about. He wants to be a resource. The selling will come when the time comes. I mean, when I think about being in real estate, I never had less than 20, 25 listings. Why? Because my manager told me that if I get a lot of listings, I can control the market. And I was in Los Angeles. I know you're all saying, what a great, we were turning property every 6 months. It was unbelievable. In the 77, we were in heaven. 78 was just as great. But I'm sending this to Brandon. Now, that's one thing I can do. So everybody gets that. I always thank people. I always send them a gift. And I always want to acknowledge them. Now, if I go here, here's another thing I can do. Here's somebody. Now, let's take a look at this girl, or let's take a look at this guy. I don't know this guy. Now, I look at this guy. He helps financial professionals using LinkedIn. Well, that's kind of interesting, but why does he want to connect with me? Now, when people want to connect with me, and I'm not sure why they want to connect with me, let me show you another thing that I do, everybody. I want to show you this. I send them this. Here's a message I send them. Hey, Debbie, thanks for the invite to get better connected on LinkedIn. I was curious on why you wanted to connect. Is there something in my profile you found interesting? I help people in the business develop LinkedIn strategies to help better leverage the power of LinkedIn. Is that what you're interested in? Well, guess what? If I don't hear back from Debbie in about a week, what does everybody think I'm going to do? You're right. I'm going to ignore Debbie. Why am I going to ignore Debbie? Look, I've got over 12,000 connections. The most you can have on LinkedIn are 30,000. But I don't need 12,000 people to make my life work. You know, we all need probably 500 people that we're close to, right? Some of the best friends and some of the best connections we all make are people we meet somewhere for the first time. So if I don't hear back from Debbie, so when I'm curious, I speak to them. Now, let me make sure everybody understands that. I don't have to connect to this person. I don't have to connect to this person to speak to them. Here's what you do. I go to everybody see this, the invitations? It says see all 17. I go to the see all 17 and I can go to Paul and I can send him a message. And so I don't have to, see, think about it, everybody. Did you ever connect with anybody on LinkedIn and try to talk with them and they don't talk back? What good does that do you? It doesn't do you any good. And so you want to have a vibrant network. You want to have an engaging network. And if I can't talk to you and get you to talk back to me, there's no reason for us to connect. There's 760 million people with 5 million people a month coming aboard the program. So, by the way, does everybody like that? So who should you connect with? Connect with people you know, connect with people you want to know, and connect with people you should know. Now, let's talk about some people you should know. Let's say that you want to target. I want to mention something about search for a moment. Let's say that you want to talk to elder care attorneys. Maybe that's a targeted market for you. Maybe you think elder care attorneys, the people get too old, they're going to a nursing home, they got to sell a piece of real estate, or maybe divorce attorneys, or whatever. Well, guess what? I can click, and if I go to people, there's 13,000 people that have something in their profile that says elder care attorney. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? But that's a lot of people. So I'm going to change my location. I'm going to go to a place called Boca Raton, Florida. Now I'm getting closer to home. I got 24 results. Now, does everybody see that these people are at the second and third level? Well, it's difficult to get to these people, but I can show you how to do it. But here's what's interesting, everyone. When you connect to these people and you get to the first level with these people, if they had a need for somebody that did what you did, you would show up at the top of the search. So wow, that's interesting, isn't it? That's how you get optimized. You get connected to people. By the way, yeah, you get connected to people. So I would be all over that. Now, let me show you something that's really important for you to know. If I go to this girl, Michelle or Tina, let's just go to Michelle. She's into long-term care planning. I can go to her profile. She now knows that I've looked at her profile if she's active on LinkedIn. And she looks a little active. She looks like a pretty cool girl. And I can see she's in Boca Raton. So I can, yeah, look, regardless of whether you're connected to these people, think about it, everyone. You don't have to be connected to speak to them, but watch this for a minute. I want to show you something that'll knock your socks off. Let's say that I go to her interest section. See the interest section? I can go there and I can see that she's in some groups, maybe. You see these groups? She's in a trust and estate law. That can be interesting. 2,254 members. Do you know that if I get into the group, I can communicate with anybody in that group for free? Let me show you what I'm talking about. You're going to love this, everybody. If I go back to me for a minute, if you go to the work button, do you see this work button here? I can go to groups. Now, let me tell you about groups for a minute. It's really important. LinkedIn allows you to be in 100 groups. I know you're all saying, Ron, that's a lot of groups. Who's got time to be in 100 groups? Well, I got it. But I'm talking about, you can set your privacy settings so you don't have to be inundated with email, or spammed. I don't get spammed a lot. I mean, this is a business network. But what's interesting about groups is that they're either listed or unlisted. With a couple of million groups that they got on LinkedIn, keep in mind this, everybody. Most of the groups on LinkedIn are listed, which means you can join them with no problem. If they're unlisted, you would simply have to be invited to get in the group. For instance, if you said, I'm going to start my own real estate resource center group. Fred, I hope you're listening. You would just go here, Fred, you create a group and you start inviting people in. You can be a listed group or an unlisted group. Now, when you're in groups, everybody, there's two kinds of groups you want to be in. You want to be in your industry exclusive groups where you can get your best practices, right? And I can give you all kinds of ideas of the National Association groups and so forth. But number two, you want to be in a targeted audience. Now watch what I've done. Here's 87,425 members in the event planning professionals. Well, I'm a full-time professional speaker. Well, guess what? I'm in that group. Now watch this, everybody. When I'm in that group, everybody see this button here? It says see all, see all. Watch this. When I click on that, I can message anybody in that group and I don't even have to be connected. Unbelievable. Now, I really want everybody to get this because if you're on the free platform, you have limited search capability. I'm not talking about you spending any money whatsoever, but I'm telling you, it's a mind blower. You can talk to these people. But again, remember, you're a resource for people. You got to be a resource for people. And the bottom line is what? Is I reach out to these people, I let them know who I am. I've worked with a lot of meeting planners over the years. If I can be a resource for you in regards to anything related to working with speakers, let me know. I'd be more than happy to offer my expertise and some ideas and some thoughts. And they may talk. In fact, I might even tell them I've got a my document about 14 tips for networking and relationship building in 2022. If they'd like to receive it, let me know. So I'm kind of like fishing a little bit, right? I'm not trying to sell them anything, but I want them to take an interest in me. And I'm not necessarily connected to them. So I want everybody to get, you don't necessarily have to be connected to people in order to um, get them to respond to you. And I don't hit the commercial limits. What a great tool that is. I hope you like that, everybody. Let me show you something else that I think you're going to like a lot. I want to search for something here, which deals with, I want to show you the alumni feature for colleges. You're going to like this as well. Now watch this, everybody. I'm going to go back here for a minute. I don't know why I'm having a problem with this. Okay, watch this. Let's say I went to Florida State University, right? Let's just say I went there. I think that's in Tallahassee. Yep, there it is. I think some of you probably went there, but whatever school you went to is fine. Now watch this, everybody. You're going to love this. This is so cool. This is their website, their company page. They've got 244,917 people that are part of the Alumni Association that went to that school. That's interesting. But take a look at this, everybody. If I hit the alumni feature, I'm talking, this is the free platform, everybody. You don't pay anything for this. I can see where everybody lives. I can see where, now most of them live in, Tallahassee or Miami, Fort Lauderdale, right? You can see that. I can see where they work. I can see what they do, and I can see what they studied. Wow. Now that's an interesting tool, isn't it? Now watch this. You're going to like this one too. Let's say you went to that school in 1996, and right now you're in that school to the year 2000, right? 4 years. Let's say you got through it in 4 years. If I click on that, there's 37,000 people that were at that school during those 4 years. And look at this. I know where they live, what they do, where they studied. Now, let's go back to what they studied. Let's say that I was a political science and I studied business administration. Look at this, everybody. There's 1,860 alumni that were at the school the same time I was at the school that studied the same thing I studied. And look at this. Here they are, everybody. These are all the people you may remember. And what would it be like to find somebody you went to school with 20 years ago to catch up? People you haven't been in touch with for years. Is that a good, look at this guy. Here's a real estate specialist. Look at this guy. He may even be on this call. He's in Miami. That's what he says he is, right? He has no banner. By the way, everybody notice, no banner. If I look at his contact info, no contact info. That's not good, right? I want to reinforce what I said. Guess what? He's got no featured section. He's got no featured section, no about section, and he's reflecting no experience. This is your competition, everybody. If you just follow some of the things we talked about, I'm telling you, it's going to make a major difference for you. So I want to go back and show you a few more slides. And then what I want to do is I want to end with a few things. You might take a picture of this if you want. This when somebody invites me, they send me an invite. You might take a picture of that. I just wanted to show you that's for you to use if you want. This is when I'm curious on why somebody wants to connect with me. Take a picture of that as well, if you'd like. Another thing, by the way, which I didn't show you, there's a way to introduce people by sending the profiles in the More button. In the More button. Let me show you what I mean by that. This is really important. I want to give you this as another little tip. If I go back to Fred, I'm going to go back to my friend Fred. If I go to Fred DeFalco, I go to the more button, I can share his profile. Everybody see that? So if Fred said to me, Ron, I want to meet John Smith, I can send this to John Smith. It's an unbelievable tool, but take a look at what Fred would send to me. Fred could actually send to me this thing that says, Ron, I hope this note finds you well. As you may know, I'm leveraging LinkedIn to grow my network. I noticed you're connected to so-and-so. I was wondering if you'd kindly provide an introduction for me. You see, what's so interesting, people, is that relationships open doors. They don't always make the sale, but they do open doors. So anytime you can make it easy for people. So look what I've done. Look what Fred did for me. Not only did Fred send me this note, or he could have, but then he's telling me what I can actually send to John. He wants to meet John. John, I hope this finds you well. As you may know, well, no, I've already said that. No, Steve, I want to introduce you to Fred DeFalco, founder of so-and-so. I thought it might make sense for the two of you to connect. Isn't that cool? Take a picture of this as well, because this is just something else that I think will make a difference for you if you were going to share your information. Again, there's so much I want to share with you. I hope it's okay that I'm sharing what I'm sharing. By the way, the only time you're going to have people following you that you're not connected to is when you're releasing content that people find interesting. If you're interested in finding out who they are, this is the link. Think about that for a minute. Why are they following you? Because they like what you're saying. Well, wouldn't it be nice to get better connected and then lead them somewhere, to a Zoom call, a phone call, to the beach, to a Starbucks, to an office? You got to go somewhere. All the business on LinkedIn is not on LinkedIn. It's when you leave LinkedIn. And then send them a connection request. You can do that once they reach out to you. That's another thing that I send to people. Take a picture of that if you want. I showed you the alumni feature. I told you about groups. By the way, forget the 2DOP groups, but here are some interesting groups. Real Estate Networking Group on LinkedIn, 592,000 members. Real Estate Investors. There's a Real Estate Investor Group for 171,000. What about luxury real estate? Anybody working in luxury real estate? There are 98,000 people. And by the way, when I did 11.3 million my last year, I must admit, I'll bet you 95% of it was sold by other brokers. You know, I would love to get both sides of the transaction, but it doesn't always work that way, does it? But if you can build relationships with other realtors, what about real estate referrals? What about the National Association, the global group? Is that a value? Think about it. So these are just great groups to be in, and they're easy to get into because they're primarily listed. So look, when all is said and done, it's really about effective outreach, timely response, managing the conversations that develop. And I want to show you what I want to suggest that you do every day, everybody. This is what I need you to do every day. I want you to look at your status updates. Every day. Look, I'm not telling you to spend more than 17 minutes a day. 17 minutes a day, and you can take it to the bank. I want you to like, comment, and share things. Engage with people. Just don't like it, comment. And it makes people feel good, and they get to know who you are. And if you've got real estate attorneys that are making comments about things, and you know, the thing with real estate attorneys is whatever they can't do offline, they can't do online. So they've got these professional rules of conduct. So do you, but you know, it's so much easier for you to socially prove yourself out than an attorney. But like, share, and comment, check messages and respond, and keep up with conversations. Check your notifications. Let me end with this one story. I got a notification. There's a guy by the name of Dale Saventek. That's his name, Dale Saventek. I've known him for 30 years, and Dale got promoted. I haven't seen him for 10 years. I've known him for 30. I haven't seen him for 10 years, but I get notified by LinkedIn. He didn't call me. I got notified by LinkedIn. And they said that he got promoted to vice president of a roofing company. So I reached out to him and I said, hey, Dale, congratulations on your promotion. what took you so long, right? I was kind of joking with him a little bit, tongue in cheek. We were talking. I said, look, let's catch up. So we caught up. We jumped on the phone. It's been 10 years. And you know something? He didn't call me. LinkedIn notified me. And we was talking. The next thing he says to me, wow, we were just talking. Our company was just talking about LinkedIn. Maybe you can do some training for us. 3 weeks later, I'm doing a training for his company. But that wasn't the intention. It was just to update each other. So I just wanted to let you know that, my God, you got to do that. And then you got to search for people every day. So look up status updates, like, comment, and share. Check messages, read and respond. Keep up with your conversations. Check your notifications, search for people, and take 17 minutes a day. It'll make a difference. I want to get to the ending here, and I want to I can't tell you how much I appreciate both Fred and Arnie um, for stepping up. They're serious about helping you build your business. That's why they're paying me to do this. I hope this was a tremendous value to you. I know I threw out a lot of information. And if you want to hear more from me, just talk to Fred and Arnie. They can make me available if that's what you want.
Yeah, there's a number of questions, Ron. Ron, let me tell you something. This is not my first dance in a LinkedIn training. And every other training I yawned. I couldn't wait for it to be over. No, nothing, the how to. I am blown away. I mean, really, man, my friend, when you went over my page with me, I was blown away. Even though you gave me a C minus and, I knew you were being nice. But anyway, let me read some of these questions. Thank you, my friend. Wow. Let's see. I see I'm getting on right away. Okay. Okay. Is it going to be recorded? Yes. Let's see. Will the class be sent to us later? Yes. That will happen. Could you please repeat how to get your featured button? Thank you. I'm going to send you the recording. Those kinds of things I don't want to do right now. So you'll get a copy of the recording. Fantastic. Very generous of you, Fred and Arnie. Well, I'm getting on right. Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Cynthia. Leslie, feel free to use my LinkedIn account. Red Johnson. Okay. Hey, pull up Red Johnson. Hey, here you go, Arnie. Pull up Red Johnson. And let's look at his LinkedIn. We're going to give you a score, Red. Red, you still there with us? Annabelle, can we make him, by the way, I went from Zoom to webinar. This is my first one because I wanted to be interactive and stuff. So, Annabelle, chime in here. Red Johnson.
I can bring him up. Fred.
His
name is Red, R-E-D Johnson.
Yeah, Red Johnson. It's, hold on a second. I'll tell you. This will be cool. It's linkedin.com/IM/red-johnson .co or something.
Yeah, let me see if I can see it.
Annabelle, can you unmute Red Johnson if he's on? Can you see if he's on? Let's see.
So he's a realtor in what city?
Let's see. Annabelle, are you there? Speak up. Oh, did I lose she's
I'm here. I'm trying to look for you.
Did you fall asleep? She's in the Philippines, folks.
Johnston with a T. Johnston.
Oh, I missed that. I'm sorry, Dan.
That's all right.
Hey, we're going to give you a score, my friend. Hey, thanks for coming in here.
No worries. Hey,
Annabelle's in the Philippines, 13 hours ahead of us, folks. This is the kind of dedication. I mean,
By the way, Fred, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Do you see his profile? I just brought it up.
Yeah. Let's husband, father, coach, realtor extraordinaire. All right. That's Coach Red.
Okay, so let me give some quick comments. Number one, I love the idea that he's got a banner. The only thing that I would add to that is an email address or a Calendly or your website or a telephone number. Then MSMED, okay, which is fine, but nobody really knows what that is, or maybe they do. Husband, father, coach, realtor extraordinaire. That's great. But I would add more, Red. You get up to 220 characters. So the question is, what are people searching for on LinkedIn? Because anybody can find you if what they're searching for is in your profile. So when you say husband, father, well, nobody's going to search for that when it comes to a realtor. But again, that's really great. That's great. There's nothing wrong with being a husband and a father. I'm the same as you. Then when I go to your contact info, well, of course, I've got no email address. I've got your portfolio. That's nice. And I've got no telephone number. So, but that's something you might want to add, and then add it in below, because remember, the people that are on a phone app can't get to it. Then he's got an about section. Now, the way he would add, remember what we would do, the way you would add a featured section is he would go to the right of his information on his profile. It would say add section. If everybody remembers, and again, I don't want to bore you, it says add section. That's what he would do. He would go to add section and it would work. If I go back to Red Johnson, so he doesn't have, oh, no, he does. He does have a featured section. Very good. So he's got a featured section. And by the way, change this a bunch. Red, people are going to like it. Put your listings, put market updates. He's got an about section. He's spent 22 years. Again, my suggestion here, and he's got a nice background. Look at this. He's raised in Orlando. He attended this. He's overseas to teach in 5 years in Vietnam. Of course, I was there in '68. But
72.
72. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was
But-
72.
Yeah.
A
But
lot's
here's
changed.
Yeah, a lot has changed. But here's the thing, Red. Remember, you're a resource for people. So the question with the about, or the comment with the about section, at least my take on it, is what's the challenge that people have when they buy and sell real estate? And you're a realtor extraordinaire. I love that. Well, guess what? If somebody put that in, you can show up. But the key is, what's the challenge? And how do you solve that challenge? And you probably have a lot of years experience. And then I want your contact information on the bottom here. Now you're married, you got a wife for 19 years, and that's nice. But I'm not saying anything bad about what you've done. That's maybe more like a Facebook thing. But this shows that you're a father and a caring dad, and you have two beautiful daughters, and so I think that's nice. Look, if what we do works, it's good. Now, by the way, it looks like you've got 584 followers. You don't look like you've got a lot of activities, but these are people that are following you, somewhere. So where are you leading them to? And if you remember what I said, Red, remember I said that most real estate people, they don't really reflect they have any experience. So for a guy like you that's been around that world, again, you've only been in the real estate business, I guess. You're reflecting 5 months and 1 year and 3 months. And then before that, you were in the financial services business. It would be great for you to list a bunch of things you're experienced in negotiation, of listing, in marketing, all these things, because that just gets caught up in the algorithm.
And put that in under the experience section, like for EXP.
Yeah,
Ron?
that's exactly what you would do. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, what you would do is you would go to the plus sign, and that would add. And then whenever you need to edit, you would go to the pencil. But I would throw in a bunch of stuff, and you can pull it off of the EXP website. You can pull it off of the document that I said you can get that came from Orlando Board of Realtors.
You get that from me.
From Fred or Arnie.
Yeah. Hey, Ron, what I'm going to do, thank you. And this is a good example, folks. By the way, we still have 53 left. And I'm going to put this out there as well when I say follow up with everyone, is Ron has graciously, Arnie, you want to put your video on, Arnie, and your audio and video? Ron, if you want to come on with us, audio and video, Ron has graciously offered to Arnie and I that all the people who attended, those who were on time, not anybody else past 12 o'clock. No, just kidding. But Ron has offered that any of his consulting that he does is minus 40% for my group and Arnie's group, our group here today. Arnie, where are you? I don't know where he is. Let's see. Arnie, hello.
He's on the beach. He went to the beach.
He went to the beach. Anyway, yeah. So that let me just do a couple more questions here. Red, was that helpful?
I'm
Yeah,
here
it
now.
was very helpful. The only thing I was gonna ask Ron is, up on your profile, you had the hashtags. Can I put that where I have like husband, father, coach, instead of, get rid of that, just put realtor,
Yeah.
contract negotiation, all that right there?
Yeah, it goes right below that, Red. But what you have to do is go to your dashboard, which is below your information, and turn on creator mode. Creator mode. Just turn it on. When you click on it, it'll turn on, and then you will populate what is it that you talk about.
And I'm gonna you send out this video, Ron, so you'll have that again. Red. Let me get to another
Perfect.
question here. How relevant do you? This is a good question. This is Cynthia McGuire. Annabelle, is Cynthia McGuire still on? Anyway, let's see. Here's her question. This is a good question. How relevant do you think Google My Business is to LinkedIn? Is one better than the other? I think, if I want to try and show my ignorance. The nice thing is, I heard Ron say 14 times free, free, free. Whereas Google My Business, I know could be free, but if you don't push it out, there's no good, right, Ron? I mean, that's a great question, though. Go ahead and address that.
Yeah, no. Look, there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle, but here's what you want to know: the LinkedIn algorithm, Cynthia, is so tied into Google that if I Google your name, your LinkedIn profile could show up on top before Google My Business. So they're both great. Anywhere you can be seen, found, heard. The bottom line is you got to be visible, you got to be seen, you got to be heard. So it's just one tool. LinkedIn is one tool, but it's a great tool. So again, Google my name, you'll see my LinkedIn profile show up on top. Google Arnie's name, his Google profile. The algorithms are so closely knitted that it shows up. So I hope that answers your question.
Let me just emphasize one thing real quick. The university thing got me some business because I found some people I went to school with, and that is powerful. You can't find that anywhere else. LinkedIn does it for you. It's unbelievable.
When you started showing that, Ron, I thought, oh my gosh, man, forget your old yearbooks that you lost 14 years ago or 40 years ago. What a phenomenal, I'm blown away, my friend. Thank you so much. Arnie, thank you. Arnie walked in my office first time. He said, hi, how are you doing? And we sat down, we hit it off. He says, Fred, you got the Real Estate Resource Center here. I got a guy you might want to meet. So, man, thank you, Arnie. And by the way, this home warranty, residential warranty services, when I send that out to you all, do your customers a favor and refer them to Arnie, because they'll thank you for it, especially when something blows up and you got them covered. They're gonna like you. Okay, let's see.
I just want to mention one thing. I've got an idea for farming. So get in touch with me about it, because I got a way for you to get paid to farm. Okay, because you'd be helping me and you'd be helping people. So we'll talk about that sometime. I've written several books too. I've been around a long time, and just this much experience just kind of falls in place sometimes. And I love helping realtors.
Yeah. By the way, I do want to mention one last thing for Red, and I don't mean any harm, Red, when I say this, but when we look at your recommendations, you've received none, you've given one, but you're much better than that. So remember, give as many as you can to the people you've done business with. There are people, when people say you're extraordinary when it comes to real estate, that's going to make the difference. That's going to socially prove you out. And that's what you want to do.
Hey, I appreciate it, Ron. Hey, I was a basketball coach for 25 years, so constructive criticism is the name of the game. So I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. And listen, man, there are people that will probably say great things about your character and your approach to coaching. And you know something? That's meaningful. So reach out to those people. Remember, you got to be connected at the first level in order to give or to receive. So
they'll definitely say I'm a character. I don't know if they'll talk about my character, but they'll say I am a character.
There's another question that just came up, Ron, about that. And by the way, guys, look at this. Look at your panel. Don't tell me that about old dogs. Look at this. We know these. 82. Arnie Goldberg, 82. Ron, you and I are what? Where are you?
we're not talking about me, but here's what I want to say. No, Fred,
Huh?
here's what I want to say. Look, I was in Vietnam in 1968, so figure it
There
out.
you go, folks.
But here's
74.
what I want to say, Arnie,
I'm
Arnie,
64.
Arnie, I want you to know, Arnie, I want you to know that age is just a number.
Man, hey, I'm 68, man. I got it.
But listen, Fred,
Junior
in
here.
Arnie's situation, it's a high number. But if he converts his age to Celsius, he's only 30. He's only 30.
I'm gonna do. I love that, man. Anyway, yeah, you're right. It's only a number. And then Yara Gonzalez. Are you still on Yara? She says, "Is it possible to up?" Yeah, I think you addressed this. It'll be in the recording. Is it possible to upgrade a connection from a second to first? You did address that.
Yeah. Well, when he says upgrade, I'm not. I think I understand what he might mean. Number one, can he go to premium business? The answer is yes. When you go to premium business, you're spending about $575 a year, $59 a month, and you're getting unlimited search. But I want everybody to know that if you ever upgrade, you can get the first 30 days for free. But make sure that your profile looks as good as you look professionally. That's all. You also want to make sure it looks as good as you look professionally. But always take advantage of the first free 30 days for free. That's the key.
Yep. Okay. Any other questions? You can just type them in the question mark there. Let's see. What do I got here? Annabelle's chatting to me. She said I should be able to see the questions, but she was sending to me. But I don't see the questions, Annabelle. I may be because you just shared it. But anyway, it's all good. Guys, you're going to get this recording. Ron, thank you for that offer. Folks, 40% off of his published rates of any consulting that you want. You're going to, you can look him up on LinkedIn. Arnie's got some stuff he's going to give me to send out to you as well. His farming stuff that he and his company are talking about, you definitely want Arnie on your team as well. And I would love to be your real estate resource. By the way, I want to say this. You guys are probably, if you're not with EXP, you're sick and tired of hearing about it, and I don't blame you, okay? I have people that are in my mastermind every morning. Listen to this, 8:30 to 9:30, mastermind, 5 days a week. I have my longest standing agent that's still not a part of my EXP team, 2.5 years. 2.5 years. I love her as much as I love my own. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So we have a mastermind every morning, 8:30 to 9:30, 2.5 years. So there you go. Look at this. Look at Ron.
This is for all the Orlando people.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, listen, guys. And next time Annabelle, can we open this up? We still have about 49 people in case anyone wants to chat with us. Can you open it up now, or is it? Are you there, Annabelle? Speak up.
I'm here.
She's still there, folks. 13. Wow.
I sent you some of the questions on WhatsApp.
Okay. Oh, I have a personal page and a business page. Any comments about I should post anything from my business page or my personal page? Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a personal page and a business page. Any comments about it? I should post everything from my business page onto my personal page.
Okay. So let me give you an answer on that. There's a clear distinction between a personal page and a business page. When you post anything on your personal page, people either see it or they don't see it. They see it or they don't see it. Like Facebook, same thing. On your business page, whenever you post anything, the people that are following you on a business page will get a notice that you posted something. So what I didn't show people, and I want to show everybody right now, if I can do that, Fred.
Yeah. And by the way, we have somebody else ask you to review their page. We're going to do that after this, folks.
Okay. Can you see my screen? I guess.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now watch this, everybody. If I go to the bottom, go to the work section. If you go to the work section, on the very bottom of the work section, it says create a company page. It's easy and it's free. But here's what's interesting, everybody. On the company page, for the person that just asked that question, if I was to create one, but let me just go to relationship strategies. This is my company page. They have what is called admin tools. You can invite up to 100 people that you're connected to on a monthly basis. It resets every month. But then I think, as you may have noticed on my information that I put out to people, I always tell them, if you want to follow my company page, here's my link. So just know that and then if you notice this says create a showcase page. You can get up to 10 showcase pages. So if you've got luxury listings or land acquisition or whatever you're selling, my God, people that are following that page, it's relevant. And that's what you want to be, is relevant. So it's good to post on both places.
Pull this page up. Cynthia, thank you for that. I call that ATV, authentic, transparent, and vulnerable. She said, pull my page up. Here we go.
What's her name?
Cynthia McGuire, McGuire, Cynthia McGuire. And it is, oh, no, I'm sorry. No, that wasn't Cynthia. Excuse me. Sonia. I'm sorry. I looked at the wrong name. It's Sonia, Sonja, Sonia. Last name K-O-C, Charlie, E, B, Victor, S-K-A.
1 second. K-O-C.
It is K-O-C, E, Edward, V, Victor, S, Sam, K-A.
This is her right here.
There it is. There you go. Perfect.
Is this her?
Sonia, yep. Real estate broker, DNS, really, yep, that's her.
Yes, that's me. Thank you, guys.
Oh, there you are. Good.
Hello.
Let's see how this looks. Go ahead, Ron.
Well, here's a couple of things. I love the banner. I mean, I love the banner from the standpoint, Sonia, of it gets my attention, right? The beach, the ocean, the buildings, the water. Again, I always tell people to put something in there that relates to how they can reach you. That would be one thing. Then she's a real estate broker at DNA, okay, and she's got the address and everything. Well, this is prime. I hate to use the term, but it's prime real estate, Sonia. You've already got that, hopefully, in your contact information, which you don't. But you got your company website, so you can put all that stuff. You know, the question is, what are people searching for where they can find you? And anybody can find you of what they're searching for. So they're not going to be searching for this. Maybe they will. If I put in DNS International Real Estate, I'd rather put that in your company, your contact info section, than I would in your headline.
Okay.
Then when I look at your activity section, well, what do we notice? You got 533 followers, and that's how many connections you probably have, even though it says 500 plus. Then I notice you've got an about section. And the thing that I will say about your about section is, again, underutilized, only from the standpoint that you're saying you're licensed, and this is all credibility, but you're not a resource. You're not talking about the challenge. Again, my approach is, what are the challenges people are having? And so you're talking to a targeted audience, whoever they are. And then you're talking in third voice. She has extensive experience. I'd much rather say, as a licensed, experienced real estate agent, so I'd rather be talking from, it's not like Sonia so-and-so is licensed. I'm licensed. So I want you to talk directly to people. People relate to that a little bit better. Once again, I think there's more experience you have that you can add. You've been in the business 7 years. When I take a look at your skills and endorsements, I like this. I mean, this looks relevant. When I look at the amount of things you have, they're probably relevant. Well, no, what just happened? Okay, let's get back to so that they're relevant as well. And then what I notice is you don't have any recommendations. So you haven't given any and you haven't received any. So if I was in your shoes, I'd immediately go to everybody you've done business with, which is probably a bunch of people, 10, 15, 20 people a year, or whatever the number is, 30 people a year. And I would get connected to them, and I would give a recommendation to them or ask them for a recommendation, and that will socially prove you out. Is that helpful, Sonia?
Yes, it is. Thank you so much.